Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, 26 farmers killed, several others missing in Niger boat mishap. Troops of Operation Hadarin Daji rescue 18 kidnapped victims in Kebbi, Zamfara states. Nigeria beat Sao Tome and Principe 6-0 to book its place in AFCON. And away from Nigeria, Morocco declares 3 days mourning after over 2,122 deaths in quake. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I'm Aisha Salihu. We begin in Niger State, where at least 26 farmers have reportedly lost their lives, while several others are missing when a passenger boat capsized in Bajibo community in Mokwa local government area of Niger. Reports say the victims were from Bajibo, Ekwa, and Yakende communities of Mokwa local government area. The chairman of Local Government Council, Jibrin Abdullahi Muragi, confirmed the incident, saying that 21 corpses had so far been recovered by local divers, adding that efforts were ongoing to rescue the remaining victims. Abubakar Akote reports that the incident happened on Sunday morning. Officials of the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, however, said they were collecting data to establish the number of passengers on board, although they confirmed the incident.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Earlier, we had joined us via Zoom to shed light on the incident. Garba Salihu, overseeing Director General, Niger State Emergency Management Agency, and he had this to say.
As you rightly reported, the incident happened this morning at about 7:30 to 8 a.m. When farmers from three communities, Bajibo, Eka, and Yankade communities, were heading to their farms this morning. The number of persons that are on this boat is estimated to be over 100. There were women and children on board the inflated boat. The boat actually capsized because it came in contact, or it collided with underwater tree storm. And that is how the boat split into two, and the passengers were emptied into the waters. So far, rescue operations have been directed by His Excellency the Governor of Niger State. Local divers in conjunction with local government authorities, in conjunction with our men, are currently carrying out a rescue operation in that area. So far, 24 corpses comprising 19 women, 3 men, and 3 children have been recovered and have been buried. Over 30 of the survivors have also been rescued and reunited with their families. We've had our own fair share of this incident, where many lives are lost year in, year out. As a state government, His Excellency the Governor of Niger State have directed immediate collaboration with Nigerian Nigerian Inland Waterways to see how we can make water transportation safer in these our transregional rivers. Currently, we are trying to collaborate, or talking with the Nigerian Inland Waterways to see how we can get most of these underwater storms, which have continuously caused boat mishap on a yearly basis and have claimed a lot of life.
That was Garba Salihu, overseeing Director General, Niger State Emergency Management Agency. And now moving to security matters. Troops of the Joint Task Force in the Northwest Operation Hadarin Daji have again rescued more than 18 abductees in Kebbi and Zamfara states. A statement by the Operation Information Officer, Captain Yahya Ibrahim, said the successes were achieved on 9th September when the troops deployed at Forward Operating Base in Anka local government area of Zamfara state successfully rescued 5 kidnapped victims after a gun duel with armed bandits along Anka Bagega Road in the troubled state. Ibrahim says the victims were abducted by armed bandits who blocked Anka Bagega Road and abducted several kidnapped persons in a truck while conveying goods to Bagega Market from Anka town. Similarly, the troops rescued 2 victims who were kidnapped from their farmlands. 6 kidnapped victims who escaped from their captives in Gando Forest were rescued by the troops. Preliminary investigation revealed that the victims were kidnapped from the Mahuta community in Kebbi State, northwest Nigeria, and have spent 10 weeks in captivity. All rescued victims were handed over to the appropriate authority to reunite them with their families. The Commander Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadarin Daji, Major General Godwin Motkot, who also is the General Officer commanding 8th Division of the Nigerian Army, Sokoto, commends the troops for their vigor, resilience, and prompt response to distress calls, which led to the rescue of the victims. Also earlier, we had via Zoom to give us an update Ambassador Ibrahim Tudu, who is the chairman, Coalition of Non-Governmental Organization in Zamfara State.
Especially in Zamfara, in this season is very difficult for the military and also very difficult for the community because of the rainy season and vegetation everywhere. And I think the military, we have to commend the troops for what they are doing. They are up and running and they are pursuing these criminals and they are recording successes. We have to thank them most sincerely for their efforts. And also the state government, that is Zamfara state government, for actually mobilizing the security agencies to make sure that they man the roads that they are following. But I can tell you that still there are issues with the security in the Northwest, especially in Zamfara state, because most of these things that are happening, you can see that they are rescuing kidnappers, kidnapped victims. While the general opinion of people is that the military should go after these bandits in their hideouts in the bush, which their locations are most of the time known, and we want the military to go after them. Most of what is happening is on the road. When they come, and they are now very daring, they come on the road, they kidnap, they go to the villages and enter in the night, they kidnap. So we want a situation where it's their hideouts, they are being smoked out, not actually fighting them on the road, because they have already come over to the villages and to the roads. So we are thankful to the military, and we're also asking the federal government to, as a matter of urgency also, to also transfer the command and control of the military to the northwest. Why not northwest? The command and control of the military should also be transferred, as it happened in the that directive was given by the former Muhammadu Buhari in the northeast. The theater of operation now is in the northwest, and we want the military to have more presence in the northwest so that they can checkmate the activities of cattle rustling, kidnapping, armed robbery, and other insecurities that are visible in states in the northwest. Zamfara State, Katsina State, Sokoto, and Kebbi states. Exactly the situation remains the same. Those areas that are not accessible are still not accessible. those areas that bandits are mobilized, are attacking, because we can't say it's 100% safe. So that's why we are saying that the military should follow those areas and secure those areas so that people go to their farms. They are out there running the risk of kidnapping, and also that anything is happen on the road. Those that are kidnapping on the road, they are prevented. For example, majority of what happened is in the bush.
And that was Ambassador Ibrahim Tudu, who is the chairman coalition of non-governmental organizations in Zamfara State. Now, still sticking with security matters in some regions in the country, the Northeast Governors Forum has raised the alarm that bandits operating in the Northwest region are slowly extending their activities to the insurgency-ravaged Northeast region. The governor said this during the 8th Northeast Governors Forum meeting held in Maiduguri, Borno State. The governors, in a communique read after the meeting, said the federal government needs to address the situation before it worsens insecurity in the region. The forum also noted that illegal mining activity in the northeastern states constitutes threat to the security situation, adding that it is a violation of the Land Use Act. The spokesman of the forum, Adamawa State Governor Umaru Fintiri, said the forum wants the federal government to address perennial flood, climate change and deforestation in the region.
The forum is aware that some traditional rulers and other local authorities are conniving with the bandits, giving them shelter and cover to commit crimes within the sub-region. The forum unanimously resolved to decisively deal with any traditional ruler or community leader that is found to be harboring or conniving with the bandits. The forum noted with dismay the seeming neglect of roads and railway infrastructure, especially along the economic corridors that links the northeast sub-region to the rest of the country. The roads from Enugu to Maiduguri is in deplorable state. Equally worse is the railway from Enugu up to Maiduguri, which has been destroyed. The forum is calling on the federal government to look into the situation and consider the reconstruction of this basic infrastructure along Enugu-Maiduguri economic corridor.
And now to a sad development. A housewife was killed and her husband wounded by gunmen suspected to be kidnappers in Jalingo, Taraba State capital, in the early hours of Sunday. Taraba State Police spokesman, Superintendent Usman Abdullahi, confirmed that the incident occurred at Mile 6 area in Jalingo metropolis. He said the gunmen entered the house of one Balanko Alex Gamalia and shot him and his wife in an attempt to abduct them. Superintendent Usman Abdullahi revealed that the wife died on the spot, while the husband, Alex Balanko, was wounded and he is now receiving treatment at a hospital in Jalingo. He said 2 persons, including a woman, were however abducted in the house. Superintendent Usman Abdullahi stated that police are on the trail of the kidnappers and appealed to the residents to provide information to the police to enable them track down criminal elements in the society. Now, residents of Odumode community in Ahoda East local government area of Rivers State have deserted the community following the manhunt launched by the police to fish out killers of Superintendent Bako Agbashim, the deceased DPO of Ahoda Divisional Police Station. Rivers State Police Command Public Relations Officer Superintendent Grace Eringe Koko, in a press statement issued in Port Harcourt, said the state's Commissioner of Police, along with his management team and tactical units, conducted an operation on Saturday in Odumode community with the objective to recover the deceased DPO's body and conduct an on-the-spot assessment of the community. Koko said during the operation, 6 suspects were apprehended within the community, while items seized were a locally crafted pistol and various charms. Koko said the suspects and the confiscated items are currently under police custody and are undergoing interrogation at the state CID, Port Harcourt. She said as a result of the manhunt, the community have been deserted by the residents.
Really unfortunate that in our dear state, where we're doing everything to reduce crime rates, a group of miscreants will portray the state as being unsafe. We honestly feel very, very sad over this incident. As a government, we sympathize with the Nigerian police force, especially the family of Sabako. But we will not rest until whoever that is responsible for this act is brought to book. We have gone further to show our commitment on this particular issue by placing a bounty on the criminal and also suspended the traditional ruler of that locality. We are doing everything on our part to make sure that this matter will get to the end of it. We must get him dead or alive.
Now, in line with that story, earlier we had via phone Victor Dozier, Daily Trust reporter, who gave an update.
Residents of Udumude community in Ahoda East local government area have deserted the community following the marching order given by Rivers State Governor Sasimilani Fubara to the security agencies to fish out the killers of the DPO of Ahoda Divisional Police Headquarters. Following the directive given by the governor, the Rivers State Police Command, with directive from the Force Headquarters, have deployed MOPO 19, have deployed half unit of MOPO 48, 1/3 of units from MOPO 19 and 56. An tactical team led by Superintendent of Police Zukumo Richard. The team of police have invaded the community, and as a result of the invasion of the community, many residents of Odumede community have deserted the area because of fear of being arrested and facing the wrath of the police following the gruesome murder of Superintendent of Police Bako. There is tension and apprehension in the community as we speak right now. About 80% of residents have vacated the area, have deserted the area for fear of incurring the wrath of the police. Rivers State Police Public Relations Officer SP Grace Iringi Koko, in a press statement issued in Port Harcourt today, said that the police team led by SP Zukumo Richard have been given a marching order to carry out a thorough search of the area and apprehend the culprits responsible for the DPO's demise, recovery of the body, and location of any operational weapons. She said that the operation will continue while investigation remains ongoing. Meanwhile, the Rivers State Governor, Sir Sim Fubara, during an emergency meeting held with heads of security agencies in Rivers State, gave out a marching order to apprehend the leader of the court group suspected to be responsible for the murder of the DPO. The governor directed them to get that very suspect dead or alive. So that's the situation report in Udumede community in Ahoda East local government area. As we speak right now, the entire community is deserted. Why police have taken over all the strategic areas of the community. This is Victor Edosia reporting from Port Harcourt.
And now to a sad development from road mishaps. Students of the Federal University of Technology, Gidan Kwanu, Mina, Niger State, have blocked the Mina-Bida Road protesting the death of their colleague, reportedly crushed to death by a truck this evening. The student, simply identified as Abdulaziz, a 200-level student of the Electrical Engineering Department, was crushed while crossing the road. Some students said the deceased had just returned from the burial of his mother 2 weeks ago. When our correspondent visited the scene about 15 kilometers from Mina, travelers were seen returning as students threatened to burn down any vehicle that attempts to force its way. Effort to get the university authority to speak was not successful. The Dean, Students Affairs, Bashir Ganiyu, did not respond to calls put across to him. And now, a water vendor in Bauchi State, Umar Mohammed, is mourning the death of his 2 sons, as certified by a medical doctor at the specialist hospital.
Umar Mohammed said poverty and his inability to treat malaria infection for his children due to the economic hardship may be the reason of the death of his 2 sons. Mohammed explained that he is a water vendor for over a decade within Turun Gidadubu community, but he couldn't afford medical expenses after the children were diagnosed with malaria and other diseases. Mohammed, aged 42, is married to Hawa'u and with 5 children, and is now left with 3. He is living temporarily in an uncompleted building. The first son was ill, and the younger one also ill too, at the same time. So we went to a hospital, no result yet. And so we came back home. No money to go back, no money for food, regardless of the time. We went back again, just like that, and they refer us to a specialist hospital, and that was in the night. So they all died. Now their younger sister too is ill, and she's recovering now.
Pneumonia come here.
Before the doctor even said this was another disease in addition to malaria. But despite all, they made an attempt to rescue them. But they couldn't hold. They gave up around 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. respectively. His neighbor Zaharaddin Abdul Malik says the government should try and fix the country because many people are dying because of hunger and starvation.
This malaria issue is a very, very important issue. And they are almost spending money in this HIV. The malaria is killing people and a lot of things is happening and people don't understand. The primary health care knows 80% of the problem in the hospital is malaria. Pregnant women with malaria, small child with malaria, the elderly with malaria, and the medicines maybe are expensive for some people, but at least the hardship is not easy.
He said that it is time for a well-meaning Nigerians should come to the rescue of the poor to complement the little the government is doing for the common man. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at Dambe Warriors League as it commences in Kano. More news when we return. Do stay. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Now let's take a look at a recap of some of our major stories. We told you that 26 farmers killed, several others missing in Niger boat mishap. Plus, gunmen kill housewife, wound husband in Jalingo. And now to more news. Noah Kekere, the doctor alleged to have removed a woman's kidney in Jos, has reportedly turned lunatic in police custody on Saturday evening. Kekere was arrested on Wednesday following a report at the Nasarawa Gown Police Division for alleged removal of the right kidney of Kehinde Kamal during a surgical operation in 2018. The State Police Command had earlier confirmed the arrest of Dr. Kekere on suspicion of organ harvesting. Trust TV's Adomusa reports that Kekere was rushed to the psychiatric unit of Jos University Teaching Hospital when he started exhibiting strange behavior in police detention facility. A police source said the doctor started tearing his clothes in the cell and started behaving like a mad person, and he was taken to the hospital handcuffed. Armed mobile policemen have taken over the psychiatric unit of the hospital. Contacted the spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, they didn't respond to the inquiry by our correspondent. Kekere had, before his arrest, been carrying out surgery at his Murna Clinic and Maternity, located in Yanshanu community of Jos North local government area of the state. And now to politics. The National and State House of Assembly Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Kano has voided the election of Yusuf Umar Dati of the New Nigeria People's Party and returned Musa Ilyasu Kwankwaso of the All Progressives Congress as member-elect for Kura, Madobi, Garum, Malam Federal Constituency. The three-man panel, led by Justice Ngozi Flora Zinge, sacked Dati for having not resigned from Bayero University, Kano, 30 days before the election. Justice Azinge consequently ordered INEC to set aside the certificate of return earlier issued to Dati and declare Musa Ilyasu Kwankwaso as the winner of the election, having scored the second highest votes during the election held on 25th February 2023. The tribunal has affirmed the election of Sani Bala Sanyawa of APC against the assertion of Abdullahi Safiyanu Mohammed of NNPP that Kunchi and Sanyawa Federal House of Representatives election was marred by irregularities and non-compliance with the Electoral Act 2022. Justice Azinge said that the three witnesses presented by the petitioner lack cognitive values, adding that the court has found contradictions and discrepancies in their testimonies. She averred that it is the duty of the petitioner not only to show but to demonstrate to the tribunal that the respondent did not score the majority of the votes cast during the election. The court held that he who asserts must prove. The National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Jingawa State has declared the outcome of the House of Representatives election of the Birnin Kudu Buji Federal Constituency as inconclusive. The Independent National Electoral Commission declared Adamu Yakubu of the People's Democratic Party the winner of the poll with 39,998 votes. Yakubu defeated the APC candidate Magaji Dau, who garnered only 36,735 votes. Dau challenged the outcome of the election at the tribunal. The tribunal said the election ought to have been declared inconclusive at the first instance because the number of cancelled votes outnumbered the win margin. And now the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has called on the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, to drop the idea of approaching the Supreme Court after the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has dismissed his petition challenging the election of President Bola Tinubu. The minister made the call in Imo State when he paid a courtesy visit on Governor Hope Uzodinma. Ajibade Awofesho sent the report. Okay. Now moving on to Oyo State, the State Independent Electoral Commission says all the 18 registered political parties will participate in the April 27th local government council elections in the state next year. The Commission's chairman, Isiaka Olagunju, senior advocate of Nigeria, said this while featuring on Speak Out, an interactive program of Oyo State Correspondence Chapel held in Mokola, Ibadan. Sam Glory has more details of the story.
Olagunju lauded the political parties on conduct of peaceful primaries, urging them to replicate such during election campaigns. On the possibilities of having electronic voting during the poll, Olagunju revealed that there is no provision for electronic voting in the current local government electoral law of the state. He added that electronic voting can only be possible if the Oyo State House of Assembly considers the review law to be presented to the House by the end of October 2023.
You are in the cycle of responsibility, and we found out that all the 18 political parties have shown interest to participate in the election unlike before. This translated to what I said earlier, credibility, which means that all the political parties have confidence in you that the election will be ready.
The only body that can do that for us adequately and successfully is the media men. I've always maintained one thing, and I'm very glad. I will always continue to appreciate the government of us for giving this team to conduct the election. I have close relationship with all my other colleagues from other states. I know what they are going through, and I must confess that this state is different in terms of enthroning democracy at the local government councils.
They are very, very transparent with everybody. They treat everybody equally. You understand that? So I don't even need any special treatment as a member or as a candidate of the ruling party. No, even the last election, we campaign more than any other gubernatorial candidate or House of Assembly candidate because we believe that we have a pact with the masses.
Olagunju explained that the Commission will continue to engage political parties and other stakeholders in the state in its quest to build on the success recorded on the year 2021 elections. He mentions that all the 18 registered political parties in the state have forwarded the names of their candidates to the Commission.
We will now stand and by for election. So for this particular election that is coming next year, April, according to the timetable released by OISEC, so we have dotted all our I's, we have crossed all our T's, and we are just through with party primaries, which has been adjudged as our unprecedented.
He also declared that the Commission has no power to create polling unit, adding that the Commission will only conduct election in the existing polling units in the state.
Now, religious and traditional leaders in Kaduna State said drug addiction is a major factor contributing to the deterioration of moral values and rise in criminal activities in the society. They believe that enhanced security of the communities is only achievable when security agencies work with voluntary organizations like Hizbah to address some of the vices responsible for rise of insecurity within and outside the Muslim Ummah. The report.
Recently, activities of Sara Suka, fund snatchers, and other criminals have become a source of concern in Kaduna as police parade suspects arrested in connection with one crime or another. Worried by the rising crimes, Muslim clerics and traditional leaders meet at the headquarters of the Jama'atul Nasrul Islam to discuss ways of addressing them.
Admonish the right deeds and forbid people from committing sinful acts within the society. But there are restrictions. That is why the Hizbah committees can only detect the places, know where they are, and inform the relevant authorities, more especially the police.
The level of the criminality is getting worse. It's becoming out of hand. So I call on the security agencies, police, soldiers, they should align with the Hizbah group in order to arrest or to tackle the criminality in the society.
Badly, these are voluntary, people that give their lifetime and their resources for the betterment of humanity, for the development of the Ummah. Whether you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, our Hizbah personnel are always available to give assistance to you. and enhancing their capacity definitely does mean enhancing the capacity of the general population.
The Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuban Mali, says traditional institutions play significant roles to protect societal norms and values, emphasizing the need to use the Hizbah operatives to complement the effort of security agencies in tackling menace in the society.
Within everybody's territory, will have the right to ensure that all the issue of protection of his people will come. Protection will mean a lot. Protection against, having illegal children, having drunkards, have all these things. They are within, even if it is the constitutional role. But this one, they are already the basic roles of a ruler. Even within a household, the leader of the house has a responsibility over his children. So it's in the same wider perspective.
The clerics call for a collective approach to eradicate the menace of drug addiction that often create violent activities among youths.
So what we're supposed to do is that we're supposed to join hands and put our hands on deck in order to drag them into the peace, morality, and to teach them the right thought of Islam. If not, all what is happening in the society, most of it was happened by the drug abusers.
Our challenge presently is that at least let government understand that we are trying to complement their effort. We are not taking over their activities, but we want to complement. So at least we will need a rapid response to our call. When we have anything that is good and we want them to encourage, let them support us. And when we can see people displaying criminality, whenever we call on them, let them quickly come and support us so that at least we can curtail and stop that activities.
The meeting is aimed at promoting teachings of Islamic morals among the communities to help address decadence. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, many couples tie the knot in a courthouse when they have low budget to accommodate extravagant ceremonies. Others will insist on elaborate ceremonies during marital rites. In this report, Salis Lawan finds out some of the reasons court marriage is appealing to the youth in Yola. The report.
Registering a marriage in court cost just 2,000 naira compared to around 200,000 naira or more for a traditional wedding, even on a micro scale. While some are of the opinion that aside from its cost effectiveness, court marriage also serves as a security to the couple in the event of misunderstanding. However, others say with little amount of money, a partner will still be legally married by law.
First of all, I'll start with young people now. Most people, you have someone you love and you want to marry, but you don't have the resources. Or the resources you have, it's kind of cumbersome because there are some people that you have to pay bride price first, and the bride price is not something that is friendly. Then you still expect to host a big ceremony like the white wedding, traditional marriage. So people nowadays, after paying the bride price, the little they have, first of all, they consider the cost. Court marriage, or should I say civil marriage, it's more friendly, cost friendly. It's not that expensive. It conserves resources, first of all.
When you go for a court marriage, you are sure that your properties are secured in case of any circumstances or anything that happens, especially in a family whereby maybe the husband is dead and the relatives of the husband would want to pack everything without leaving anything for the wife.
They also believe that with the money saved, they will set new life together.
Some people see it in a selfish interest, like, okay, let me just go and marry this guy because he has money, he has all the properties, so that maybe I want to divorce, I might have a lot of things to go with. But apart from that, if there is more understanding between the couples, then it is advisable. For me, I'll go for court marriage.
Most persons go into court marriage because of trust, lack of trust. They get scared. My partner could leave me. So now they say, because as well, court marriage offers legal security. So people that choose it, because now legal security is on the fact that you cannot marry another person without officially separating from me.
we have to go through the same process of going to the court. We now go through the same process as well to the court, and okay, see, fine, we are now divorced.
While getting married is a romantic event, there is also a serious side to the union, which many believe is critical. Stakeholders said sometimes planning a big wedding with a long guest list can feel overwhelming, especially when you feel the need to please everyone. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
This is Trust TV News Hour. We'll be back after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. We'll now bring you details of an earlier story where Minister of Works David Umahi has called on the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, to drop the idea of approaching the Supreme Court after the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has dismissed his petition challenging the election of President Bola Tinubu. The minister made the call in Imo State when he paid a courtesy visit on Governor Hope Uzodinma. Ajibade Awofesho sent in this report.
According to the minister, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal judgment was very transparent, asking Peter Obi to discontinue for further litigation at the Supreme Court, as this may cause distraction to the president, who already has a lot in his hands to deliver as dividends of democracy.
Thank God that all the efforts we had, were never in vain. And to use the opportunity to advise our brother, His Excellency Peter Obi. You see, life, man is created for certain assignments. And I believe strongly that the labor movement came so that the divine nature of our president will be made manifest. And so I think he has done his work. He shouldn't waste his further time by going to Supreme Court, because the judgment was very clear.
Governor Uzodinma, who is the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum, thanked President Tinubu for appointing Works Minister from the zone.
I would like to express my unalloying gratitude to Mr. President, President Asuwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, for appointing one of our best and brightest, the Minister of War.
Umahi said the Tinubu-led administration has commenced work that Peter Obi should see himself as a divine instrument used by God to give Tinubu victory.
And he has done the assignment necessary to do, and that by helping you and me to make sure that the PDP votes were brought to ground zero, so that we may see, and he should understand that they should have a discerning spirit to understand that. Again, you and I will justify it that Asiwaju Tinubu presidency is divine, and they have set the ball rolling. Congratulations, sir.
And also congratulate our brother, the minister. And use also the opportunity to let him know that Nigerians are watching. That push he did in the Boy State to be replicated in Nigeria and the federal level.
The minister, while commending the state government's efforts to ensure federal roads are fixed, promised that the Tinubu-led administration will not relent in its efforts to commence works on most of the federal roads, begging for attention in the zone. Ajibade Awofeso, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu will meet with the leadership of the United Arab Emirates to resolve the diplomatic dispute with Nigeria. The UAE authorities had in October 2022 slammed visa ban on Nigerians, coming shortly after the Emirates also suspended flights. Nigerian carrier Air Peace, which was also operating to Dubai, similarly suspended its flight as the UAE stopped issuance of visa to prospective travelers. In a statement on Sunday, Special Advisor Media and Publicity to the President, Ajurin Galale, said President Bola Tinubu will meet with the leadership of the United Arab Emirates during a technical stopover in Abu Dhabi, UAE, after the president's departure from New Delhi, India. The statement said the meeting will serve as a follow-up discussion to address specific salient issues within the bilateral relationship after conversations held during a recent visit by the UAE ambassador to the president at the State House in Abuja. When he hosted Salim Saeed Al-Shamsi, UAE ambassador to Nigeria at Aso Rock last month, the president had directed that issues affecting relations with the Emirates airline and issuance of visas to Nigerians should be immediately resolved, emphasizing that he stands prepared to personally intervene. And away from Nigeria, Morocco have declared 3 days of national mourning after a deadly earthquake overnight. The death toll rose to 2,012 people early Sunday. A statement from the Interior Ministry said Friday's 6.8 magnitude quake, Morocco's strongest on record, struck 72 kilometers, that's about 45 miles, southwest of Marrakech, wiping out entire villages in rural areas. The government reported at least 2,012 people were killed and more than 2,059 injured, many of them critically. Troops and emergency services scrambled to reach remote mountain villages where victims were feared trapped. Neighboring Algeria, which has had rocky relations with Morocco, opened its airspace, which had been closed for 2 years, to flights carrying humanitarian aid and the injured. Al-Haus province, the epicenter of the earthquake, suffered the most deaths with 1,293, followed by the province of Taroudant with 452. Still on the foreign scene, a drone attack on an open market south of the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, has killed at least 40 people, activists and medical workers said, as the military and the paramilitary rapid support forces battle for control of the country. At least 70 others were injured in the attack in Khartoum's Mayo neighborhood on Sunday, according to resistance committees and 2 healthcare workers at the Bashir University Hospital, where the casualties were treated. The group posted footage on social media showing bodies wrapped in white sheets in an open yard at the hospital. It is not clear whether all the victims were civilians, but there is a dire need for medical assistance for those who have been injured. Indiscriminate shelling and air attacks by both factions have become common in Sudan's war, which has reduced the greater Khartoum area to a battleground. And finally, in sports news, Super Eagles of Nigeria wrapped up the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifiers with a comfortable 6-0 victory against Sao Tome and Principe at Nest of Champions Uyo, Akwa Ibom State on Sunday. A hat-trick from Napoli striker Victor Osimhen and a goal each from Ademola Lookman, Taiwo Awoniyi and substitute Samuel Chukwu Eze ensured the team finished top of Group A with 15 points, ahead of Guinea-Bissau with 10 points. Nigeria and Guinea-Bissau have booked their tickets for the African Cup of Nations in January 2024 in Côte d'Ivoire. The ancient martial art of Dambe has begun its league at the Dambe Arena of the Ado Bayero Square in Kano State. With a new modern league structure, the inaugural league provides a system of promotion and relegation involving 18 elite fighters placed in 3 weight categories. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim spoke to members of the Kano State Traditional Sports and Association and Dambe fighters and filed in this report.
The birth of an organized Dambe Fighters League has always been a dream for lovers of the sport. Once achieved, the sport can be elevated from its grassroots origin to the grand stages of the world. The origin of Dambe is from Hausa people. We also want this sport to be embraced by all. That's why we are excited about the new development of this very organized Dambe Warriors League. For a very long time, we have wanted it. The Dambe Warriors League attempts to preserve and promote the essence of Dambe, the honor, the tradition, and the unyielding will of the fighters. Each weight division has 6 warriors that will fight in 5 circuits in Kano and Abuja over the next 3 months. The top 2 ranked warriors fight for the championship at a super fight, while the 6th warrior will be relegated. Have achieved progress in Dambe in Nigeria. I am a former Dambe fighter, and I know that now that fighters receive huge amounts as prizes, and they are now becoming more popular. It was not like that for us when we were fighting. We are more encouraged now that our names are on the league rankings. I hope to win my next fight so that I can be the champion of the lightweight division. The fights are more difficult now that it is a league, but I was able to subdue my opponent. I have nothing to fear in this Dambe's Warrior League, and I like it to continue this way. Beyond the applause and victories, the true triumph lies in the fighters who find purpose, the families who find support, and the communities that find unity. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social media platforms. Join our YouTube live stream for more news, program, and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thanks for your time.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.